Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything city, past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of city stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So you can check that out. That will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Welcome to Match Report as we look back at a great win at the Bridge, wasn't it? Let's be honest about it. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1, played on the 25th of September 2021. Of course, it was Pep against Thomas, and what a cracking game. What a cracking game it was. I don't usually like early kickoffs, 12:30 p.m, but yeah, I sort of go with the flow on this one. Yeah, Pep versus Thomas, the lineups, yeah, not too bad. Obviously, my predicted 11 didn't allow for certain injuries. Obviously, people like, I didn't realise Rodri would be okay, so I'd stuck Ferner in, and I'd put Aki in on the basis that Laporte and Stones weren't playing. But obviously, on that basis, 9 out of 11 isn't bad. I've probably got a 10 or 11 if I knew the sort of injury situation. But I think that 11 for City was probably more or less what most of us would have stuck out, wouldn't it, to be honest with you? So we went with Edison, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Silva, Foden, Jesus, Grealish and KDB. On the bench, Stephen Stones, Aki, Sterling, Torres, Fernandinho, Mahrez, Palmer and Lavia. Yeah, our opponents, again, had a couple of sort of just borderline injuries, didn't they? So I got the full 9 right to begin with on my preview, but obviously again 1 or 2 of those I'll count as being right as well because I wasn't aware of certain injuries. So they're starting 11. Yes, very midfield defender orientated as you expect from Tuchel in these sort of games. Mendy, Christensen, James, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, Kovacic, Jorginho, Alonso, Conte, Werner and Lukaku. Yeah, we had Mr. Michael Oliver. He did an okay job today, I thought. To be honest with you, he let certain things go and stop certain things. But hey, I've all credit to him. I don't tend to rate the refs anymore because he's always get bad ratings. But I thought he did a reasonable job today, Michael Oliver. I was quite impressed. He sort of handled the occasion very well. His linos were Stuart Burton, Simon Bennett. His fourth official was Andy Madeley. On VAR, we had Darren England. I don't think we had a need for that, did we, on the day, really? Just a couple of obvious offsides, but that was about it. Assistant VAR was Dan Robotham. A little match report now. Some of these photos are courtesy of the City website. I've just had a quick look on there, some of their gallery pictures. So my thanks for City for that. Apart from 2 or 3 forays forward by Chelsea, yeah, it was a totally dominant display, wasn't it, in that first half? Although clear-cut chances were a little few and far between. I mean, yeah, we know Chelsea have got a great defence, and they proved it. I think Grealish and Foden were struggling early on to get involved. And Jesus wasn't getting much change against that Chelsea thug Rudiger, was he? I mean, how that guy doesn't get booked sometimes, I have no idea. It's particularly one where he was backing in Harry Kane-esque on Diaz, I think, in the first half, and he just got away with it. I have no idea. He is a good player, don't get me wrong. He is a really good player, but I'm sorry, just some of the things he does, just a little bit too close to the bone for me. Yeah, we had some half chances. KDB and Jesus went over or tamely wide, and you have to sort of think that Chelsea have got to improve on that first half performance. We were pretty dire. Tuchel was very animated. And of course, it wasn't tiredness from City today, was it? I mean, we were running them all over the pitch, to be honest with you. Certainly no sign of a fallout from that Southampton game. If only we'd sort of up the gears in that Southampton game, we'd be clear at the top now, wouldn't we, by a couple of points with teams to play. But hey, there you go. We can't cry over spilt milk, can we? So half-time 0-0, yeah, surely Tuchel's going to change it a little bit. But the second half started more or less a similar sort of vein, didn't it? After a laid-back first half, it did start quite, again, with City pressing, but all hell let loose, didn't it? Let's be honest about it. As an early goal, which it was 8 minutes into that second half and 53 minutes, a deflected shot. You know me and shots, get them on target. If they get a deflection or whatever, or bobble in the net, I don't care. That's what you've got to do. And as Jesus effort, a real number 9's goal that he found himself some space. I think Cancelo's shot was deflected to him. Whether he'll get the assist on that, I'm not too sure. But yeah, Cancelo blast was blocked, and Jesus just managed to give himself a little yard, a typical striker's goal, typical number 9. Sniffer Clark's back. We've got Sniffer Jesus now up front for City. This is one of those games where it looks as though he could do the job, and then he goes off and doesn't look as though he can do the job. But this is one of his best days. Let's put it like that. But yeah, obviously the deflection, Mendy just didn't have time to actually react in the Chelsea goal. To be honest with you, and it was 1-0. Thoroughly deserved, obviously, on the balance of play. But that sort of meant that, as I said, all hell let loose then, because suddenly Chelsea realised they had to make an effort. They had to actually attack. It wasn't all just going to fall to them to defend and then score on a breakaway. They actually had to come out and do something. So again, obviously for the neutral supporter, for the neutral fan, it all sort of kicked off from there on and was far more end-to-end, if you like, sort of heart in your mouth, sort of end-to-end stuff. Although, to be honest with you, I wasn't overly panicking. City seemed to cope with most things. I felt the defence was excellent on the rare occasions that Chelsea did get into City's space. But there you go, that working. Yeah, fortunately, City's defence was excellent, wasn't it? On the rare occasions, Chelsea did sort of get an eye on goal or get close to goal. And we did really, though, had two or three good chances to put this to bed. To say it wouldn't have been as nerve-wracking or nervy, let's say. It wasn't nerve-wracking, I don't think. They didn't look as though they could break through, but you never know. It takes one bit of luck or one deflection, doesn't it? There was a Grealish goal-bound effort. It was fingertip, wasn't it, by Mendy? A superb effort from Grealish, actually, and I think it would have snuck in the post if Mendy hadn't got a fingertip to it. And that was put out for a corner. That was on 58 minutes. And of course, the clearest chance when Thiago Silva blocks an effort, goal-bound from Jesus after Mendy had sort of palmed it out. And Jesus would sort of Mendy nowhere. He had to sort of place it in, but Silva, I mean, that's his years of experience, isn't it? Was in the right place to actually stop this. Of course, even then we had another great chance on 83 minutes when, with Chelsea beginning to hoof it up wildly into the air, into the City third, we had a little breakaway and Grealish had a great one-on-one chance with Mendy. And again, excellent goalkeeping from Mendy. He is a good goalkeeper who spread himself really well and he sort of blocked a Grealish little dink onto. He was trying to dink it over. But I think this sums up. City restricted Chelsea to just 5 shots, so none on target. So I thought I think most of them probably came in the second half. Overall, a stunning display, I thought, from City last night, all over the pitch. And Chelsea got what they sort of deserved, I think, from this, which was absolutely naught, 0, zilch. Yep, the key stats, shots, as I said, 5 for Chelsea, none on target, 15 for City, 4 on target. Possession 40% for Chelsea. Yeah, I mean, if you look at last season's 3-1 win, I think it was 60% Chelsea, something like that. And it was the pass accuracy. A lot of unforced errors with Chelsea's play. They couldn't sort of pass out at pace as City were doing, and their accuracy was down to 82%. City's wasn't as high as it could be. It was 88%, but still pretty good. And Diaz and Laporte, of course, both picked up yellow cards. As I think Oliver got a bit generous with them in the second half. I think there was sort of 5 or 6 bookings in that second half. On to the ratings. Yes, very interesting ratings from Mr. Brennan. I agree with some of them, but there's one or two stand out that a bit I don't agree with, and I think he's been a bit mean. I don't know where he's coming from, but Stuart Brennan does his ratings. I'm starting with a 7, and I'll tell you now, I wouldn't, even though a couple of players didn't quite get to the pace of the game, I'm not going to give anyone less than a 7. So there are some high scores from me. I don't remember putting these sort of high scores together very much over the last couple of years when I've been doing player ratings, but I'll read Stuart's description and then I'll just add my little score after it as well. Edison, here we go. Stuart, surprising a little to do other than be smart in possession and alert to the counters. He's given him a 7. I thought, well, I think I can remember at least 3 or 4 things he had to do. Where I certainly near the end, where he was very brave coming out and clashed with was it Havertz up front? I mean, Stewart, I think it'd have been a bit mean there with 7. I've given him an 8. So I nearly went to 8.5, but I think he was positive and pretty much faultless today, Ederson. So I think Stewart. I don't know where Stewart was watching this. Perhaps he was there and he got distracted. I'm not too sure. Kyle Walker, Stewart says, typical powerhouse display, but without the sloppy errors of Mardy's game recently. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Stewart's given him a 7. I give him a little bit better. I give him a 7.5. He was just part of a fantastic defensive unit. You perhaps didn't notice him as much, but his pace was there all the time to help out as well. Ruben Dias, strong and committed, says Stewart, in the face of Lukaku's aggression. Yeah, a bit of a bully, isn't he? A bit of a bully, Lukaku. Abatli and Laporte won. So Stewart's given him an 8. I'll give him an 8.5. I thought he was brilliant. I thought it was tough. He coped well with everything the bully Lukaku had to throw at him. And of course, Lukaku got his fair share of wins in the battles. But no, I thought Diaz was superb today. So I give him an 8.5. Stewart only give him an 8. His partner, Aymeric Laporte, his passing out defence was key as City built well down the left. And he's given him an 8, Stewart. I thought he was just as tough as Diaz at the back when he needed to be. And he was certainly an outlet to pass out accurately to the midfield. I didn't find many forced errors. He was always under pressure to pass out. And I didn't find many forced errors or any errors at all in his passing out. So I've given him Laporte an 8.5. He's worth every much as Ruben Diaz on this showing. João Cancelo, his storming runs and build-up, says Stewart, with Grealish, were crucial for City, and he's earned his dodgy assist. Yeah, he certainly did. Stewart's given him a 9. Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8.5. I thought what I liked about Cancelo, he was quite silky going forward at times. All right, not everything worked. But at the back, it was no nonsense. He was blasting it in the air and getting it out for throw-ins, blasting it 60 yards up the pitch. Absolutely, that's what I want. That's what I want. I mean, it's not his best position defending. He's a very attack-minded left back as Pep goal. That's what Pep goes for, or defender if you like. He can play right. He plays right back normally as well, doesn't he? But yeah, I just love the way he didn't mess about, and that's why I give him an 8.5. I don't think I've marked him that high ever before, to be honest with you. Roderick, yeah, cries of if only, as his excellence in snuffing Chelsea and launching City's forward made a huge difference. Yeah, he was great in midfield, along with a guy we're going to talk about in a minute. Stewart's given him a 9. I wouldn't go that high with Roderick. I certainly noticed him a lot more in the first half. I think he sort of faded out just a little. Things bypassed him a little bit in the second half, I think. But it's still a great display. I'm going to give him an 8. It's still a really good display by Rodri. I'll keep a close eye on him these days because I always seem to mark him down. So I thought he played really well today. All credit to him in an excellent midfield. There's some other little guy we'll chat about in a minute. KDB, Stewart said his passing and shooting were not up to his usual world-class standard, but still contributed. So he's going to give him a 6. Yes, I think it's a bit mean from Stewart. Yes, not everything worked out. You can see what we're trying to do. 2 or 3 great passes. I'd give him a 7. I've got to give him the standard. I can't give him less than a 7, KDB, but because no one gets less than a 7 today. But yeah, he was props of the 11 guys, probably in the bottom 2 or 3 as far as getting into the game. But no, I'm going to Kevin a 7. Stewart's a bit mean with a 6. Phil Foden, another one, wasn't it? Stewart says asked to play the central attacking role, but he doesn't really like that. He doesn't really suit that, does he? He was outgunned but kept Chelsea defence occupied and fought for everything. So Stewart's given him a 7 again, like KDB. I thought he was one of the least impressive players today, but you can't knock his work rate, and I've given him a 7 as well. Although he, as I say, it doesn't quite work and being forced to play in the middle, but obviously Pep must have a reason why he couldn't swap him with Jesus, particularly because I thought Jesus did all right. We're going to go on to Jesus now. Gabriel Jesus, his work rate made a difference on the City right, but he presented a threat to and grabbed a striker's goal. He certainly did. Old Sniffer Jesus, we call him. 8 from Stewart. I'd give him an 8.5. As I said, if you hit the target and that ball goes in the net, that's all I ever asked for. And he had a torrid time, let's face it. He had a torrid time against Rudiger, but he never gave up. He never gave up on it. He kept going, got up when he went down. All right, he goes down a little. He has a bit of a wind jar, Jesus, doesn't he? But he always gets up and gets on with it eventually. But yeah, I've given him an 8.5. Stuart will give him an 8. And onto the little midfield maestro who was all. I thought there's two of these guys on the pitch today. I must admit, Bernardo Silva, the inexhaustible, says Stuart. Portuguese never stopped snapping at heels and forcing errors. And Stuart's given him a 7. 7. I've never seen such a disgraceful mark for such a flawless or nearly flawless display from our Duracell Bernie. I just can't. He didn't, as far as I know, I don't remember him doing a pass wrong. I don't remember him failing on a 50-50 tackle or a chat or, with any of the guys. I just thought it was almost flawless from Bernardo Silva today. How Stuart can only give him a 7, I have no idea. I'd give him, yes, so calm down. I don't give 10s out, you know that. But I'll give him a 9.5. I thought he was brilliant today. Absolutely stunning. I mean, he'll need a rest. I mean, I can't see him playing against PSG as some of these other players. But what a fantastic, all right, if he scored a goal, but he wasn't there to score a goal, was he? He was there to be up and down. And I think I said in the preview, he's going to be up and down all the time, and that's exactly what he did. And as I said, didn't put a foot wrong for me. Flawless, 9.5. But as I said, I don't give anyone 10. Well, otherwise he might have got a 10. Jack Grealish stepped up a gear, says Stuart, after the break to cause Chelsea serious problems down there, right? He's given him an 8, yeah. I'll stick a 7.5. I would have been 7 on that first half. He was quite quiet, but he did play a lot better the second half. Perhaps he could have scored. Perhaps he could have done a little bit better. Trying that little dink. Perhaps a dink could have been a little bit better. So I'll give him a 7.5. I wasn't as enamoured as Stuart was with his 8 out of 10, but I'll give him a 7.5. And the subs, they weren't on any time to mark. Whether he had Mahrez for De Bruyne, no time to mark. Fernandinho for Foden, no time to mark. And of course, Raheem Sterling came on. Well, he likes to play Raheem Sterling against Chelsea, Pep, doesn't he? No time to mark him. And of course, City man of the match. I mean, I don't need to say it, do I really? Yes, just I think I've lost my graphic now of Bernardo Bernie with his Duracell battery on his back, but that's what it was today. That was old school Bernardo, wasn't it? That was when he was at his peak 2 or 3 seasons ago, when he sort of helped drag us to yet another glorious season. So it was just brilliant. He's my man of the match by a long, long way today. 7 out of 10, Stuart. Are you real? Are you right? I don't know. There's something wrong with you, mate. Overall record? No, you're all right, Stuart. It's not your fault. Overall record now reads at Chelsea's place in the league. Played 77, won 17 now. It was 16. Drawn 22 and still lost 38. So we've still got quite a long way to go to even the score up. 84 we've scored and we let 125 in. So we need a lot more goals as well. Right, Chelsea going forward. Yeah, I don't think Tuchel's going to panic. Of course he's not. He was very, as I say, he's very animated on the line. Didn't like the way Chelsea were playing that first half. But I don't think you can particularly blame Chelsea for anything. I think City were really at it that first half. And I say, I know he wasn't happy, but there's only so much you can do if you're playing against a team that's firing as City were for that most of that first half. They were a little bit sloppy at times, coming out of midfield. Some needless poor passing out where it sort of went to a City player when they weren't particularly under pressure. And I don't think he'll be happy about that. But I think the fact they were playing an on-fire City, I think, just rattled them. That's what we want to do. We want to rattle teams, and I think that's what they did, because they don't play teams like City every week, do they? But, don't play teams like this City every week. I say City don't play like this every week either, unfortunately, but there you go. I think that was the first goal we conceded. Again, he's not going to panic, is he? I mean, it was a deflection, and these things happen. A little bit of fortune for us there, which we needed, and that's what you sometimes need in these big games. So again, I don't think Tuchel will panic over that particularly. He won't be happy, but I think his main problem, his front line let him down a little bit. All right, it didn't perhaps give him enough ammunition as such, but despite the physicality of Lukaku, nothing really came off up front. And he tried a couple of partners, really, didn't he, when he did get up. Werner, I thought, had a poor game, and Havertz obviously didn't really get that much time to make any real impression, but... I say that's the problem, obviously, for someone for Lukaku. Sometimes his first touch, he can either be sublime or like an elephant, can't he? Let's be honest about Lukaku. It can sort of bounce off him like a snooker cushion sometimes, that ball, and other times he can sort of control it and play a sublime ball. You just don't know what you're going to get with Lukaku. That's a problem. But yeah, it wasn't helped much by the guys up front, particularly, but because he not bad. I would say he was probably their man of the match, Lukaku, to be honest, apart from the defenders. Obviously, people like Silva, who had a great game when he came on, etc. But there you go. As I said, he sort of put loads of men Tuchel in midfield, but when you're playing against our midfield with two Bernardos on, I mean, that's what it felt like. It felt like there was two Bernardos on that pitch. So it's no wonder they struggled in midfield. I don't think Tuchel will throw the old proverbial baby out with the bathwater after this one result. But he's got to think about the tactical nous to be willing to perhaps change up when needed. He couldn't do that today. I mean, as soon as he went a goal behind, I said, all hell let loose. But he wasn't constructive. A lot of it was just a bit of desperation. And when you've got 30 minutes to play, perhaps you should have been a bit more smooth, Chelsea. So perhaps Tuchel has to sort of look at that and improve on that. Because, as I say, they did up the gears, but in more a desperate way than a constructive way. But yeah, as I said, I don't think he's going to panic just yet. And I'm sure we know Chelsea are going to continue to be a threat, and they always will. And today it worked for us. There's nothing to say the next time it will work for us. It's just one of those games. It perhaps could have been a draw today, but we managed to get that little slice of luck, which we thoroughly deserved, by the way. City, yeah. I think some of that team will need a rest, won't they, for PSG, let's be honest about it. If we're going to do a similar job at Anfield next week as well, I'm thinking about. I would certainly can see 4 or 5 changes for the PSG game. Four or five of those guys are going to need a rest. I mean, they all worked the socks off today, don't get me wrong. Some perhaps didn't have to work as hard as others. They didn't quite come off, but I won't be surprised with 4, 5 or 6 changes perhaps against PSG. And looking at the squad today and the bench, we've got players to come in as well, back from injury and stuff like that. So there you go. After that pretty laid-back game against Southampton, that bit of a damp squib, let's be honest about it, this was a bit more like the intensity we expect from City. You know, even if it's only for bursts, we expect this intensity, certainly at home to Southampton. You know, within 20 minutes after kickoff, you just knew it wasn't happening. You just knew there wasn't that intensity there, and it sort of carried on for the rest of the game, because that's not how, you know, we start as we mean to go on, and today we did that. We kept that intensity up. There's little times where it eased off a little bit, and obviously when Chelsea came back into the game a little bit when they went a goal down, but it was amazing to see. So, with respect to players like Gundogan and Stones, etc., I think that was probably our best 11 anyway. Even if every single guy was 100% fit, I think, as I said, respect to Gundogan and Stones, but that probably is our best 11 that we played today, to be honest with you. All right, they weren't all firing today, but as a team, we were good, very, very good today against a very tough opponent. So it's possibly 2 points more than I at least dreamed of to start off this exciting week, if you look at it like that, with the PSG and Liverpool game. But next, you want to play one at a time, can't you? So next we're off to Paris. I can't wait for that. I'm looking forward to that. So there you go. Some of what's coming up this week. Don't forget, of course, there will be the History Boys versus PSG things already out there. So have a check for that, please. Have a look on my playlist for that. It's going back to the quarter-final, of course, with Pellers, this charming man, Pellers, who took us to the Parc des Princes on 6th of April 2016. So not too far back in time, but hey, it's history, isn't it? So have a look at that if you get a chance. Of course, the PSG Odd Show will be available from the Sunday. I think that'll be available. And of course, don't forget the preview, the big preview of it. And of course, with my expected 11, which I expect 4, 5 or 6 changes, I've already said. So we'll have to have a quick look at that and see what we come up with. But yeah, don't forget my little preview show. It should be out sometime on Monday before the PSG game. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Your player ratings as well. Any player ratings or your man of the match or whatever you want to talk about, please put it in the comments below. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Anyway, thanks for watching. What are you going to do with us today? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More important, let's all look after each other. So we meet here again on the Citizen channel, or perhaps have a flit across, please. If you want a little rest from football, we sometimes do. It's my brain's spinning at the moment. Happy spinning, but yeah, sometimes I just need to calm down and perhaps watch a film or a drama or something like that. Yeah, have a look at my film and TV channel. I'll try and inform and entertain on there as well. But whatever it is, if it's back on here, back on the Citizen channel, I only ask one thing. If you don't have, please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.